Coming up, around the world in a gyro, we visit with the pilots.
It's a new airplane from Texas with Brazilian roots. We fly the Colt 100.
And get hands-on in Tullahoma. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
Purchasing your own aircraft is an exciting experience. AOPA Finance simplifies the process, saving you money with lower interest rates and hassle-free loans, so you get into your new aircraft sooner. AOPA Finance, the right approach to buying an aircraft.
This is AOPA Live This Week with Tom Haynes and Melissa Rudinger.
Great news on sales of piston singles. We'll get to that in just a moment, but first, one of the new models on the market helping drive the numbers. It's off to the races for the Colt.
The Brazilian-designed Texas-built trainer is a mix of old-school metal and new sleek lines. AOPA's Sarah Diener flew it.
It's a new breed of LSA. The Texas Aircraft Colt is an aluminum trainer manufactured in Hondo, Texas. Metal construction, side-by-side seating, and yokes give the factory-built light sport aircraft a familiar feel to it, but this aircraft is all new.
From the beginning, we wanted to do an aircraft that would stand out in the market. An aircraft with a chromoly survival cell, a parachute ballistic system, all metal, solid rivets, high wing semi-cantilever with a yoke controller. The engine cowling, the fairings, the bands, they're made of carbon composite materials. We were able to bring a very traditional, known methodology of construction to a very modern, sleek design.
Texas Aircraft is still working toward ASTM certification for the light sport airplane, which will be offered with two options. At $156,000, the S model is the basic flight training model. The premium model, the SL, includes a ballistic parachute, 2-axis autopilot with level button, and custom paint for $167,000. The Colt comes with a 100 horsepower Rotax 912 ULS engine, 3-blade sterno propeller, and free castering nose wheel. In the air, its handling is smooth and predictable. It stalls at 38 knots indicated with 30 degrees of flaps and 44 knots clean. As projected demand for professional pilots skyrockets, Texas Aircraft sees flight schools as the primary market for the Colt. As the Colt enters the home stretch of flight testing, Texas Aircraft officials are champing at the bit to start deliveries. Sarah Diener, AOPA Live.
You can read more about it in the August issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine.
You may have noticed it in the pattern at your local airport, and you're right, aviation activity is up and so are new aircraft deliveries. General Aviation Manufacturers Association, or GAMA, releasing mid-year updates to the sales figures. Piston and business jet deliveries are up. Piston sales improved 15% from the same period in 2018. 567 piston aircraft sold in the first half of the year.
And lots of avionics sold for both new airframes and the existing fleet. The Aircraft Electronics Association is reporting $1.5 billion in sales during the first 6 months of the year. Almost in lockstep with the GAMA numbers. The figure is 14% higher than the same period last year, and half of the upgrades are to the existing fleet and the other half new airplanes.
Meet the new boss, FAA boss that is. Earlier this week, Secretary of Transportation Elaine Chao swore in Stephen Dixon as the new FAA administrator for a 5-year term. Dixon is a former F-15 pilot and an airline pilot and executive. He's the 18th FAA administrator since the agency was created back in 1958. He vowed that safety will continue to be the FAA's #1 priority and that the agency will be responsive to changing technology.
Innovation, automation, new entrants like the increased pace of commercial space and drones. You see these things every day in the headlines. And to be successful as a regulator and air navigation service provider, the FAA must be able to operate ahead of that rate of change. We can't be lagging. So I will not allow the FAA to be overly bureaucratic or to ever accept the inertia that's so prevalent in large organizations. Our mantra must be continuous improvement, because what we did yesterday will simply not be good enough tomorrow.
Dixon flew most of the Boeing models during his airline career. He vowed that the 737 MAX will not return to service until he is, quote, assured that it is safe to do so. So, Melissa, you've known this guy for a while. When he was an airline executive, you worked with him downtown.
Yes, we've known him. We worked with him quite a bit. In fact, he was instrumental in the whole Next Gen program. He and I actually co-chaired a Next Gen advisory committee that was a committee of dozens and dozens, airlines, military, general aviation, you name it.
Right.
And as you can imagine, it was like herding cats to get the priorities and then get implementation plans done. And I can tell you, he takes a very collaborative approach, at least he did with Next Gen. And I enjoyed working with him, and we were really excited to see that he was finally nominated and approved.
Good. Well, it's nice to have somebody at the helm.
It is.
Also in Washington, there's a bill introduced in Congress this week that could impact aviation, the Safe Landings Act from Mark DeSaulnier of California. Among other things, it would require the FAA to put in a system that alerts pilots and air traffic controllers if an airplane is not properly aligned to land on a runway. That comes as a recommendation from the NTSB. It would also make the feds collect data on instrument landings. Possible plus to GA, it would lead to modernizing the NOTAM system. Captain Sully Sullenberger was on hand for the announcements. Our Washington team will continue to track this proposed legislation.
Our AOPA Fly In to Tullahoma, Tennessee will be here before you know it. Make your plans to join us on September 13th and 14th for 2 full days of great aviation programming. There's amazing workshops, seminars, and excursions that you can take part in as well.
The ground school workshops are stellar this year.
There are 8 to choose from, 4 each day, and there's a cost of $99, but it's totally worth it for things like an owner maintenance workshop with industry-leading A&Ps.
The information that I received today is invaluable.
But there's more fun to be had off-site as well.
The most exciting excursion that we have is the Arnold Air Force Base tour.
Forget the Area 51 flash mob. Get a rare peek behind the curtain at an actual Air Force test site.
It's a huge testing facility for the Air Force. It's the largest in the United States, and some of their capabilities are renowned around the world.
You'll need to get your paperwork in by August 25th to get cleared onto the base. There's plenty more to do in and around Tullahoma, including a special tour of the Jack Daniel's distillery. Find all the information on our website.
And if you're able, we could use your help to make the Tullahoma Fly-In a great success. Each of our fly-ins relies heavily on our wonderful volunteers to make it happen. AOPA's Karen Hemingway says there's a volunteer position for you, no matter what your skill sets.
We have 2 general categories. We have airside operations and we have showside operations. We need help with all of it. We need specialized assistance with pilots, people who know what it takes to get an airplane safely parked.
We'll even bribe you to get your help. Lunch, a t-shirt, and this limited edition hat. You also have our sincere gratitude. You can learn more about the event and how to sign up to help on our Fly-In website. So the last one of the year.
Last one.
You going to be there?
Unfortunately, I have to miss this one, but I know you'll be there.
I'm planning to be there, yeah.
I wish I could, but say hello to everybody, and I'm sure it'll be a great time.
It's going to be a great time. Lots going on. It's going to be a good one. Coming up, it's not your grandpa's weather brief.
And going around the world in a gyroplane. We'll be right back.
The people of AOPA's Legal Services Plan work to help protect your certificates, and they love to fly as much as you do. The AOPA Legal Services Plan is offered as part of our Pilot Protection Services. It's a members-only benefit provided to thousands of pilots like you.
Welcome back. The weather is what you find, but now you don't have to look very hard. Paul Harrop shows us some of the new ways to get weather information.
It's never been easier to check the weather. All you have to do is ask.
Alexa, open flight service and give me the METAR for Foxtrot Delta Kilo.
The flight service task for Amazon Alexa devices allows you to get information just for the asking. If you link it to your account on 1-800-weatherbrief.com, you can get an updated brief on your filed flight plan before you depart. Of course, you can still use the website or the phone number. But speaking of phones, there's another new option to get the information. Send a text message to the number 358-782. Include an M for METAR, a T for TAF, and an A for adverse condition update, the 4-character ICAO identifier of the airport for which you want the information, and the letters PT if you want it to come back in plain text. And flight service will respond with a text message with the requested information. This is good for unofficial Outlook planning. It's a good idea to still get an official brief before you fly. So no matter how you like to get the information, there's no reason to not have the current conditions and the forecast before you fly. Paul Harrop, AOPA Live.
And much like the weather, there's a new way to stay on top of news affecting general aviation. AOPA is offering a new podcast that is available on your Alexa devices. Pilot Briefing gives you the top 5 things you need to know each week.
So we really wanted a quick and easy way for members and pilots to get that information by being able to say, Alexa, play Pilot Briefing.
From the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association, your Pilot Briefing.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer Nahn, and this is AOPA's Pilot Briefing for the week of August 12th, 2019, bringing you the top 5 things you need to know in general aviation news this week.
And they're going to get a quick update on top GA news for the week, and then that will also steer them back to our website and all the other content we're creating.
To listen to it at home on your Alexa, in your Alexa app under Skills, enable Pilot Briefing. From there, tap Settings to manage your flash briefings, and this is where you can change the order of your daily flash briefings. Also available on Spotify and iTunes, as well as the AOPA app and on the AOPA homepage under News and Videos, and then Podcasts.
That drone with your Amazon package is getting closer. The company has petitioned the FAA for an exemption so it can fly its MK-27 drone as an air carrier under Part 135. The 88-pound drone can carry cargo weighing up to 5 pounds. It has a round-trip range of about 15 nautical miles. Amazon says it will fly the drone over areas of low population density. Rival Alphabet Wing got its 135 cert certificate in April. And in North Carolina, Flytex and Causey Aviation announced they've received FAA approval to use a drone for point-to-point food delivery over a closed course in the town of Holly Springs. The delivery point is an outdoor sports and recreation park. And another step forward in using drones for useful work, a Skyfront Perimeter 4 long-range drone operated by the University of Alaska flew the first beyond visual line of sight flight under Part 107 rules. The hybrid gas-electric drone flew along a section of the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. Long-range pipeline and power line inspections are some of the tasks envisioned for drones in the future.
A pilot flying around the world and doing it for some good causes. Heard that one before? Well, not quite like this. AOPA technical editor Jill Tallman introduces us to a pilot making such a flight in a most unusual aircraft.
It's a warm afternoon in Frederick, Maryland. A British flag is blowing in the breeze. The ramp is hot, but you don't have to tell that to our incoming pilot. He can feel it quite well. James Ketchell is on the home stretch of a round-the-world trip in a gyroplane.
The reason why I'm flying around the world in this gyro is to inspire 1 million young people to pursue their own goals and dreams. I do a lot of work with young people back in the UK, and there's 2 fantastic charities that I'm raising money for, called Over the Wall and Kindled Spirit.
And James hopes this flight will raise awareness for the charities.
No gyrocopter has ever flown one continuous journey around the world, so I'm trying to set a record as well.
The man on the motorized couch is Gyro CFI Frank No, James's local host. He's had a lot of help from locals as he's touching down in 49 U.S. states on his trip.
Turning into a pretty epic journey. I have about 4 to 5 weeks left, and from here I'm routing up towards Canada, then over to Greenland, then to Iceland, then the Faroe Islands, Scotland, and back down to the UK, into England. So I'm actually fairly close to home, believe it or not.
He says the only thing he really misses about home are clean clothes. Jill Tallman, AOPA Live.
You can follow along with James's flight by searching for James Ketchell Gyro Around the World on Facebook.
That's a long way to fly, or a long way to fly in a gyro anyway.
It is. Yeah, he was here the other day. It was great to meet him, and he's quite the adventurer, and he's done some really amazing stuff just in the United States. Been to almost all the states by the time he'd been here, and he's on his way to do them all.
Wow.
Or at least maybe minus Hawaii, but it's a pretty neat flight he's on.
Oh, good for him. It's good to have goals.
It is. Well, that's our program for this week. Thank you kindly for being a part of it.
If you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know what you think. AOPA Live at aopa.org is the address.
There are many important things to consider before purchasing an aircraft. Let the experts at Aerospace Reports help guide you through the process. We combine expert knowledge with our long-standing commitment to personalized customer service to perfect your transaction. Learn more at aerospacereports.com.